All right, everybody, it's August 13th. It's about 12:02 p.m., little after by a couple seconds, and I hate that I even have to do this, but I have to break down what Dr. McCracken tried to feed the people on the August 11th school board meeting. So right down here, you'll see all of McCracken's telephone number, extensions, email addresses, because that's what I took most from what she said that evening was that she wants contacted. So let's give the woman what she wants. I hope that you watch this. I hope that you pay attention to what she's saying and think about it. And then I hope you contact her with some questions. So let's jump into the school board meeting.
Board of Education. I call this meeting to order. Opportunities for public comment will be provided. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I just have to pause here already off the bat. Notice that here, like the commissioners meeting, they begin the meeting with a pledge of allegiance to the flag. So, what exactly does that mean? Why are they starting the meeting off that way? And are they maintaining this allegiance to the flag as they conduct their business? I mean, that's for you to decide. I would have to say a strong no. They are not holding up their pledge of allegiance to the flag the way they conduct themselves.
Ms. Zorzi, there will be a voting item tonight. So would you please take a roll call?
Mrs. Baverso? Present. Mr. Bojalid?
Present.
Mr. Detschelt? Mrs. Zalogan?
Present.
Mr. Kosak? Mr. Koch?
Present.
Mr. Shrum?
Present.
Dr. Thomas?
Present.
Mrs. Toten?
Present.
7 members present.
Thank you, Mr. Zorzi. Dr. McCracken, do you have a superintendent's report this evening?
I do. As I had mentioned prior to this, the report is lengthy, and then if any of the board members have questions when I'm done, you can ask them. So my report this evening is on both the planned and the unplanned facilities projects that the district has completed this summer. I'll start with the planned projects first to give you an update on all of those. First, as you saw when you came in, we have completed 99% of the paving work, and you've probably noticed that the company redid a fair amount of work this summer for us at
I guess in her mind, 99% sounds good. It's not done, in short, but 99% sounds a lot better in her head.
no cost to the district to ensure.
They love telling you pay attention to the patterns here. There's a lot of no cost to the taxpayer talk at the commissioners' meetings. There's a lot of no cost to the taxpayer talk from the police departments. Nicole Ziccarelli, when she covered the deductible for the damage that she did to the county vehicle, it was stated in the Trib, she did this so it will not incur a cost on the taxpayer. And now here we are at the school board. Oh, we got all this work at no cost, free, free, free. Well, why? Because nobody's out there doing work for free, Dr. McCracken. So why did we get this for free?
Sure that it met the expected requirements. The Performing Arts Center, we're progressing on schedule, and we anticipate completing the project still by early January. We are continuing to meet bi-weekly to discuss all aspects of that project. And in the board reports, I've been sending you monthly photo updates so that you can see the progress as we go. The stadium, we had a really productive summer of preliminary work.
Just quickly, while I appreciate that the photo updates are going to the board members, do you not think that maybe some of the taxpayers may want to see the photo updates as well? I mean, it's their money that's being spent to build these things. You don't think that they would like some progress reports? I mean, just some food for thought. It's 2025. You guys have, I'm sure, a Facebook page. You have this YouTube channel. There's all kinds of ways that you could very quickly and efficiently get information out to the public, those that are interested, but you choose not to. In fact, and we'll touch more later on this, you do the exact opposite, Dr. McCracken. You delete videos from the YouTube page. You retract information rather than give information. And what our job has, come to be, at least accountability now, Norwin, is we are here to extract information, that which you don't want us to have.
Work, including gas line, water line, and drainage preparation that was completed, and it puts us in a really nice position to fully begin the project in early November. Unfortunately, we know with a project of that magnitude, there's going to be a disruption, and we're preparing to the maximum extent possible to try to mitigate that. We also completed the middle school immersive learning lab. This is a space that was completely grant funded.
This is where they're going to hook your kids up to cables and put little headsets on them and just digitally program them. I guess at this point, the old ways of indoctrination, it's not fast enough, so they're coming up with new ways.
And it provides curriculum-based virtual reality experiences that we are going to infuse into multiple subjects in the middle school. So we're really excited about the screen and the capabilities that it will provide our students. And finally, we have a new bell system at the high school that was put in, as well as several other routine maintenance projects that were approved in May and June, and they are nearing completion. So in general, really productive summer. As you're aware, I reported in the last board report about an unplanned maintenance issue, and it was titled Summer Facilities Maintenance, and it included the following update. Each year, the summer weather brings challenges to maintaining our...
Just FYI, everybody, this is where the bullshit definitely, it was a lot of bullshit leading up to this, but this, I assure you, is where it just begins to spew. And at the rate that she can put it out and the volume that she can put it out, right, the bullshit, it's alarming. Now, granted, this was a pre-written statement. Who knows if she even wrote this? But nonetheless, you really got to be paying attention and thinking while listening to this woman to really put together what she's trying to tell you.
Our facilities. This year's hot temperatures and humid air have resulted in several instances of mold growth across the district.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Off the gate, she is blaming the mold issue for this year's humidity and hot temperatures. So let's think about that for a second. If that's the case, then every single school in Pennsylvania, in the country, there's been heat everywhere. What about the schools in Florida? What about the schools in Texas? What about all these places, Dr. McCracken? Why was Norwin School District, why is it them with the heat and the humidity? I'll give you that the heat and the humidity played a role, but we need to back up to the beginning here and talk about why the heat and humidity was such an issue for the buildings within our district this summer, because this is not an issue we're hearing about across the board. But go ahead, continue.
The two primary locations affected have been Norwin High School and Knight Stadium. Working through our maintenance facilities department, we have used a professional service, Belfour, to remove the areas of mold, clean impacted surfaces and materials, purify the air, and protect against future growth to the maximum extent possible. We're grateful for the hard work of our maintenance facilities department and administrators for their proactive and...
So if you're so grateful to these maintenance facility people, and I would assume that this includes our janitorial staff, why am I hearing that they're not getting any sort of increases in their pay or anything like that, or haven't, primarily I think the janitor staff hasn't really seen an increase in their pay for a good while now, yet we're going to put this $30 million complex in here, this stadium. So we got janitors and students that are being exposed to mold, and you take this time to shout out the maintenance staff, which I have to include the janitorial staff in that. That has to be what you're talking about, right? why are you putting their hard work and their safety behind this $30 million monstrosity that you're building? Because again, we're not saying that the stadium didn't need to be repaired. And if the repairs were deemed so costly that it made more sense to knock it down and rebuild, well then, hey, there's not really much we can do about that, but accept it, practice some acceptance. But here's what we don't have to accept. We don't have to accept that when a $15 million, option A was brought to the table, you didn't go with it. But nonetheless, we're here now. You guys are doing it. You're pushing this stuff forward as fast as you can with as little oversight as possible. All we're trying to do right now is maintain the record so that later on down the road, when everything comes to fruition that we see coming, we know, what bloodlines to go trace this back to. It was the McCrackens. It was the Koches. It was, the Bravosos, the Chad Lucases. It was these people that were in the positions of power and authority at the time who sat by idly and did nothing as we watched the district essentially just catch on fire and burn to the ground. But let's continue with the mold.
Responsive efforts to identify and resolve these issues as quickly and safely as possible. As I send each board report, I include a statement that asks for you to please reach out to me with any questions about the report.
Translation: you better not say anything to anybody about the problems we are experiencing. You come to me and me only.
I appreciate the board members who do reach out with questions to ensure they understand the facts about a situation, and I continue to encourage all board members to feel welcome to do the same, to reach out with questions or confirm information.
Now you're going to see Miss McCracken take jabs at certain board members and certain people throughout the remainder of this speech of hers. She's separating, her allies from what she perceives to be her enemies. And the only reason that she perceives the few that she perceives as her enemies is because, whether you like them, you love them, you hate them, you agree with some of what they say, none of what they say, a little of what they say, they do it with the best interest of the community at heart. I truly believe that.
Information before sharing incorrect information, speculation, and accusations. Mr. Bojalet asked that I provide an update verbally this evening.
Okay, first and foremost, I just want to, for the record, state that we didn't get tipped off to the mold by any of your school board members, Dr. McCracken. So you can leave the school board members alone. We did release an email that was forwarded over to us, and there was no accusations made. No one ever claimed that they knew that it was black mold. Maybe members of the community were having those discussions and comments. We have no control over the comments. The people are entitled to take the conversation wherever the people want to take the conversation. But what we reported on was accurate, clearly based on your statement here tonight. At the August 11th meeting, it was accurate what we put out. There's mold in several buildings across the school district, and nobody knows about it, or a select few know about it. It's just coming off the back of you deleting meetings where you're discussing major financial decisions for the district. It doesn't look good, and we have every right to question it. We have every right to take it to the internet. We have every right to expose what we do know to the community. This is, we are allowed to speculate at this point. We're not putting out misinformation. I didn't make a video saying black mold found in the Norwin School District. I said mold, which seems to be accurate. What kind of mold, we still don't know. I mean, we do have what you're going to tell us here later on in the video, but I can't say that I feel comfortable taking that to the bank, Dr. McCracken.
To ensure consistency in what is understood and shared. We've been managing two separate instances related to mold. The first, the high school library, had a clogged condensate line which created water damage and resultant mold accumulation over a weekend at the end of July. When the issue was discovered on a Monday, we immediately contracted with Belfour, who follows a mold remediation process, which includes the following.
Okay, so what was the process for contracting this company? Because, I think there's a lot of members of the community that want to know, how much it cost. I think there's a lot of community members that would like to see the results of the evaluation, the test of the mold, all these different things. But what I'm wondering is, how did it happen? Who found the mold? Who told who about the mold? And how was the decision to call this company in made? Because it could not have possibly been a unilateral decision. Like, did Dr. McCracken or the president here, Mr. Twitchy Face, just took it upon themselves to do this without bringing it to the board's attention, without discussing it, without looking at different companies to come in and do these things? Now, we're not talking about the middle of the school year this is discovered. The kids are not in school yet, so there is time to do this thing properly. I mean, if you're telling me that it was just mold was discovered and somebody unilaterally made the decision to call Belford, and by unilaterally, I don't mean maybe just one person, but if there was just a select group that made this decision, now that I find a little bit concerning. Especially because I can tell you right now, I don't care how little of a problem that they think this is. Even the smallest mold problem comes with a huge bill to remediate. And that's just the way mold is. It's one of those things in life where you have to do it, whether you want to do it or not. And the people that are typically providing the services that you need in those moments, they know that, and they take full advantage with their pricing. And that's just life.
Complete structural drying, dehumidification, containment, decontamination, and disposal of contaminated materials. Their specialists wear protective clothing, and additional protective equipment and direction was provided to our staff.
Yeah, they dress up in hazmat suits, red hazmat suits. Does that sound cheap to you? Does that sound like a $5,000 or a $23,000 job to you guys? Because I'm going to tell you something. I have done mold remediation personally, and just for maybe the side of for example, I came across somebody's house one time. Somebody did the siding wrong on the house, and water got behind the siding and it rotted away all the sheeting, and this disgusting mold began to grow. So, we reached out to the insurance company. They did what they did, tested everything, said how much they would cover. Well, here, come to find out that mold typically is not covered in the insurance policies unless you pay for that extra. And the cost to remediate just this small side of someone's house was $20,000 just by itself. So this was a huge cost to the district. I'm a little upset that she is speaking about it. It is no big deal. Just mold. But remediation company, a global remediation company, might I add. The overhead, I can imagine, has to be ridiculous. But yeah, no big deal. Just a little bit of mold. People are getting sick. It'll be fine.
We have submitted an insurance claim for the damage created by this malfunction, and we're going to use this as an opportunity to update the library, similarly to how we did a few years ago when we had weather damage at the middle school library. Thus, this space is going to be closed as the process continues, and when it opens, it will be renovated to meet the changing needs of our students. The other mold, this was found primarily in the high school and the stadium, and to a lesser degree in a few buildings, has been treated over the past 2 weeks through both routine maintenance and additional contracted remediation. The mold itself and the treatment are relative to temperatures, humidity, rain, and moisture. A very wet, humid summer with spaces in a building that are not used for over 2 months.
Again with the excuse that this was caused by the weather. It's not accurate, Dr. McCracken. Some of us know how houses are put together. Some of us know about the envelope. Some of us know things. This is not going to work on everybody. And those of us that know have the obligation to step forward and say, this woman is full of crap.
Become spaces that are susceptible to mold. We've done a combination of pre-treating, testing, follow-up treating, monitoring, and responding based on each of the individual spaces and conditions. Aspergillus penicillium, or penasp, is the type of mold.
I will believe that when I see the test results. I'm no way am I going to take her word for it. Absolutely not. You would be a fool to take her word. I don't care if you're friends with her, if you like her or not. I mean, what we're talking about is a big problem, and to think that to see her being so nonchalant about it makes me even a little more suspicious of what's going on, because this is a big problem, and she's speaking about it as though it's nothing, and that, oh, we now have a new opportunity to renovate the library now. And then you'll see later that, I just want to point out while we're here, the library, right? So that's a part of the high school that every student would use, has the ability to use, could use, whether they have a library class or they're going in there for a study hall or whatever the case. So we can all at least agree that the library is a central part of every school to every student.
Found. It's a mold that is in the atmosphere, and our facilities department works with the contracted services to test both the surfaces and the air. Testing involves the comparison of the mold count in the indoor air to the outdoor mold count to ensure that there are not elevated levels in the inside air. Additionally, specific products are used to treat and prevent further adherence to surfaces. All individuals who have access to the spaces or need to know about a space's status have been notified, including general information to the board.
So it's not true. Let's just listen to that again.
Specific products are used to treat and prevent further adherence to surfaces. All individuals who have access to the spaces or need to know about a space's status.
I'm pretty sure all individuals have access to the library, Dr. McCracken. So that means that unless every single student or parent within the Norwin High School was notified about this mold, the next thing to come out of your mouth here is going to be a lie.
Have been notified, including general information to the board, in the board report, to our personnel, those both currently working and teachers who are hoping to access their classrooms. We communicated to parents of students in our booster organization who were in.
Dr. McCracken, why are there teachers coming forward saying that they have brought the mold to the attention of this district way previous to what we're dealing with right now? Some of them are getting sick. There's parents reaching out to me telling me that their kids were getting sick at an alarming rate, or whatever the case may be. People knew that there was something wrong before you guys broke into anything. It was evident by the smells. It was evident by, some of the information that you guys were being given by not only your staff, but the parents of some of your students. So again, the fact that you are downplaying this to the point that you are right here in this BS speech that you're giving us, this load of crap, is extremely concerning.
Impacted by this, anyone impacted from either a space closing or from an effect on materials has been notified.
The library, Dr. McCracken, you just said that the library is closing. So again, I will repeat, unless every student or every parent within the Norwin School District, especially those attending the high school, unless they got a letter, an email, or notification, which I know they didn't. You admit that they didn't, because then you go on to talk about who you did give information to. I mean, you're going to have a nightmare on your hands if you guys continue to move in the direction that you are moving. Because I will break down everything that you guys say, and I will continue to put this information out to the public, and as it continues to grow and grow and grow and grow, so will your meeting attendance. There will be more and more people just like me that will show up, and they will call you out to your face. Have the president sitting there going, and you, McCracken.
And provided with status information. If you are someone or know someone that was not notified, that is because the space and the materials you may need or use.
Is that funny, Dr. McCracken? Is it funny? You think it's funny? You're sitting here talking about mold in our schools around our children, and you're laughing. You think this is a joke.
Was not affected, which is the case in the majority of the district. We're grateful for the ongoing efforts of our custodial department, who have been conducting daily checks to ensure that our spaces are safe. Our maintenance and facilities department leadership, Mr. Petrarco, Mr. Sage, and Mr. Kirsch, who oversees the department, who have been coordinating efforts daily and even hourly, as well as our building principals who've been monitoring progress. It has been a complete team effort and similar to what we do every year to ensure we're ready for our students to return. We have currently tested all spaces and are awaiting results for one classroom at Sheridan Terrace and one storage planning space, which is currently not in use, at the high school. All other school buildings have been fully cleared, and at no time was mold found in Sunset Valley, Stewartsville, or Hawntown. I think it's just really important to consider the number of buildings, the size of our district, when thinking about maintenance and this situation. This is very similar to other situations that we've encountered and are prepared to encounter each year. For example, some are also
I just have to say this, ma'am. I'm not thinking about the size of the district. I'm thinking about the size of your salary. You want to boo-hoo me about the responsibility of the job that you took at a close to $200,000 salary? You better go cry that river somewhere else, Queen McCracken. Because I'm not buying that shit over here, and I don't think a majority of my community members are buying that shit either. The woe is me story. We have so much to do, so much responsibility. Yeah, and you're paid for all of it. Handsomely, if I might add.
brings with it things like a few years ago, we had a large concentration of bees. We found the spaces, we remediated to ensure they were safe, and we communicated with those who
Okay, I can't endure any more of this. If you guys want to continue and watch the rest of her speech, I will upload just what she had said at that meeting. But let me tell you something. Her talking about the humidity and the rain and the heat. We'd see this in every school across the country if that's all it took. Here's what had to happen first. First, they had to allow the building to deteriorate to a point, primarily the flat roof that it has, to where it was taking in all of this water and the moisture this year. And then, yes, the heat, once that moisture had penetrated the exterior of the building, whether it be through the roof or windows or whatnot, we have mold that began to grow. But for her to sit up there and so confidently, tell the people of North Huntington Township that this was out of their control, there was nothing they could do, this is routine, this is just how it goes, that's not accurate. And if this is the routine and the standard that's being set at school districts across the country, then the people have a huge problem on their hands. Because if the standard is that you take the money from the taxpayer, you make these renovations, you make these investments that you think are the best for the students and the taxpayers, and then you don't maintain them, and they're just falling apart, creating more of an issue. Now, it was brought to my attention as well that it's known that the roof leaks, that there have been some repairs attempted, but that none of them have really been successful. So, Dr. McCracken, all you do when you essentially speak to me directly in your speech, because you're essentially trying to paint our organization as we are fear mongers, as we are out here just trying to get stir panic within the community. It's not accurate. I mean, if I wanted to do that, I could do that, and I'd be really good at doing that. But I don't need to do that because that doesn't benefit the situation. And I genuinely care about what's going on in the community, in the school district. And I want to see a more informed citizenry begin to participate in things that although they may not think affect them, it affects them. Majority of your money is going to the school district. They're spending it on shit that we don't need. Then they're not maintaining it. So you're paying, whether you're an adult today and you're paying for the crap that's being built, or you're a kid today and you're going to be stuck with the mold and the shitty development 20, 30 years from now. Everybody from newborn to lowering them into the grave is getting hosed on these deals here, not just at the school district level, but at the township level as well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing people at the meeting tomorrow, at the commissioners meeting up at the township building. I'm hoping that after this unlawful arrest that, we get some turnout. There seems to be a lot of support within the community and the comments for what we've done. We'd really like to see that, transition into some physical support. We're not asking anybody to speak, but just your presence would be greatly appreciated. So like I said, you got to really listen to what this woman is saying. You got to pay attention to all of them. It's part of the reason that we record this stuff and then we replay it is because, first of all, we don't trust them to upload things and not delete them or manipulate them. So we like to record our own copy of the events. And then at our leisure, we can rewatch, break them down, and bring the information back to the community. And that's what we intend to keep on doing. And we will continue to keep, pushing this thing and developing this thing into something that is maintained by the people in the community, because that's who's really running this thing. It's not me. It's not Dustin. It's not some of our people in the shadows. I mean, all we're simply doing is providing an outlet. We're providing a platform. We're providing information. The information's primarily coming from the community at this point. The participation, what drives this thing is the engagement. And the engagement that not only Accountability Now Norwin has seen, but my personal profile has seen, it shows that this is something that's important to a lot of people. So we will continue in the direction that we are headed. And then, just to close it up, I just want to point out that it's been brought to my attention that the North Huntington police don't show up to school board meetings. Yet at the last 2 meetings I've attended, officers were at the meetings. Not only that, but giving escorts to school board members back to their vehicles. So it's like, if this is North Huntington makes up Norwin School District, it's supposed to be the safest township in Pennsylvania, 13th in the nation. I mean, if Norwin School District is so safe and it's such a great place to bring your family and your kids into, why do the school board members need police escorts to their vehicles? And even more importantly, why, if the school has its own private police force, which it does, why are we using the community resources in the form of their police department to also service these meetings? If you need 2 guys there, bring 2 of your private officers in. And if you don't have private officers enough, if you only have 1, maybe you need to stop budgeting for these extravagant rebuilds and renovations, and you need to just take care of the priorities of making the school safe through enough resource officers, through, taking care of the mold situation. And, I'd be an ass if I didn't also mention, you really need to find that $3,900 to give those kids for their mock trial group. You fund all kinds of other things in that school. You want to do these Heinz Hall chandeliers. Get those kids the money that they need so that they can continue to participate in this group that I believe the teacher's name is Miss Stern. I want to thank you personally, Miss Stern, for providing such an awesome extracurricular for some of these students that are interested in law to participate in. Because that's really why we're in the position we're in today, is that not enough people understand their rights. First and foremost, Ms. Stern, I encourage you, if it's not already part of your after school class, please, and if I can be of any service, please let me know, but please try to incorporate what these young men and women's rights are, because they need to know what their rights are. We need to start educating the youth heavily on what their rights are. We need to start educating the elder population as well what their rights are. It's a small percentage of people in this country, America, that know what their rights are, and that's the driving factor behind why the school districts act like this, why the police act like North Huntington Police Department. This is across the country. It's not just locally here. We're losing on the entire board. So, we need to encourage the youth. We need to educate the youth. We need to stick up for the elders in our community. We need to defend ourselves and our families. I mean, I hate to say it, but, the age group that I'm sitting in right now, this is our responsibility. We do not have time to play the blame game of who led us here. We do not have time to be lazy about this and think that someone else is going to do it. We are in a now or never situation. We have allowed this to go on for far too long throughout the history of our country. Things are changing rapidly in different directions, some good, some not good. I mean, my view is as long as the changes are happening within the parameters of the contract, then I have no complaints about it, because I have to accept the things I don't like. If I want my rights to be respected in the areas, I want them respected, and that's just the way it goes. You don't get to have it one way. I know that's a foreign concept, especially amongst our leaders and public safety officials. They don't think they think they can have their cake and eat it too. And we're going to start exposing that mentality, and in hopes that more community members jump on board with what we're doing. But I hate that I even have to do this. I just, burnt up 35 minutes of my life talking about something that shouldn't even be happening right now. And that's essentially a superintendent that's lying to the masses. That shouldn't be a topic on my plate right now, but sadly Dr. McCracken is giving me a full helping of BS that I had to deal with. So again, as always, thank you for the support. Thank you for following. Thanks for the encouragement. I look forward to seeing a lot of you at the meeting on Thursday, the commissioners meeting. And until then, I mean, we might pump out a couple more videos. Who knows?